All right, welcome into another beautiful week here at the Elephant Effect. It's your boy Stone.
Lady M.
All right, we're back with a great series, another series for you guys. This series called the Alignment Series. All right, so we're teaching you how to get aligned, mind, body, and soul. Keep it away. All right, if you're ready, let's go.
So as we dive into the alignment series, we're going to jump right on into alignment, not busy. That's the first nugget of this series. The addiction to busy. We all can resonate with this first topic of sometimes we like to say that we are busy and we're definitely not. We're just keeping our hand busy, but we're not being fruitful. So busy is a badge society gave us to hide burnout. When you're always in motion, you miss what matters most. Being productive isn't the same as being purposeful. Are you living in your purpose? Are you doing what you were created to do? Or, as stated before, are you just addicted to being busy? And then stillness isn't laziness. It's leadership over your energy. So what's controlling your momentum?
Right. Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, stillness leadership over your energy. That's vitally important because you control your energy. Nobody else, your circumstances, nothing else controls your energy. You are 100% responsible for how you unleash or bring in energy and how you use it. So I love that little tidbit there. Now I'm going to lead us right into number 2. All right, what true alignment feels like. All right, alignment feels like peace, even in progress. All right, so if you're feeling at peace, if you're feeling calm in the mind, calm in the body, calm in the soul, guess what? You're in alignment. But whenever we feel rushed or frantic or just out of yoke, to say the least, that's when you kind of know that you need to take a step back, kind of reassess the situation and see what's really going on. See how you can get back into that alignment, get back into that core way of thinking. And just because, when you're outside of your alignment, you're pretty much outside of your mind, you're outside of your consciousness, outside of your comfort zone. And when you're outside your comfort zone, there's really no progress there. And when you're inside that comfort zone, you're inside that alignment, that's when all the progress, it comes kind of natural. It comes like an easy flow, like an easy flowing river, So we definitely want to stay within our alignment, stay yoked, and just keep that calmness within you, all right? When you stop forcing outcomes, you start flowing in truth, all right? So, hey, preach on it. Don't force. It's not a force method, all right? Like she said, we're not focused on being busy. Busy isn't going to get you anywhere. Busy is just going to make everybody else say, "Oh, yeah, they got it. They doing it," But in the back of your mind, you're like, "I'm not really doing that, and I'm not making no moves towards my goals." So we don't have to force this. Just let it flow, all right? Let it become natural. Like it's an everyday thing. Like you wake up, you brush your teeth, you make your bed. It should be like the back of your hand, all right? That should be natural to you when you're doing it, all right? You're in alignment when clarity becomes louder than pressure, all right? So your clarity in your mind becomes way louder than that little biting in the back of your head that's saying go, 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 go. Whenever you start moving with a purpose, whenever you start moving, your mind is clear and free, and you can start, having your blinders on and saying, no, this is what I need to focus on today. This is what I need to focus on tomorrow. This is what I need to focus on next week. Not let's cram all that together into one thing and bull rush head first into everything, all right? Because when you bull rush in a china shop, guess what? Everything gets broken, all right? So let's focus in, get your mind right with your body, get aligned, and it's gonna make everything even more clear, all right? That right path won't require you to betray yourself to walk it, all right? I'll say that again. That right path won't require you to betray yourself to walk it. You'll know when you're on that right path. Just follow your gut instinct and follow that clarity.
That brings us to number 3, signs that you're out of alignment. Can you, before I even get into this one, can you already think of some ways that you may be out of alignment? What are you feeding yourself? Are you constantly giving energy to things that don't feed you? What are you filling up on? Are you exhausted because you are malnutritious? And so every day feels like survival instead of intention. Are you existing or are you living? That's one thing that you can think of. If you're living, then you're in alignment. But if you feel like every day is survival, I'm suffocating, I'm drowning, then you definitely are out of alignment. You're building a life that looks good but feels wrong. Are you making sure that you're walking in that alignment? Are you to a place where you don't care and you're just doing it for the image? Or are you walking in your purpose and being fulfilled? Confusion, resentment, and exhaustion are your soul's red flags. And so pay attention to what your inner being is telling you. You never go wrong with your gut feeling, and always be led by the inner you, especially if you're in alignment.
Because that inner you gonna tell you everything you need to know. It's that trust your gut type of instinct. You know, that leads us right into number 4. How to recenter yourself. All right. We gotta be able to focus on that. That's vitally important. When you have that down moment, you need to be able to say, hey, let me take that step back. Let me see what I need to do to get this ball back rolling. You know, instead of just saying, hey, I'm defeated now, I'm gonna go ahead and stop for today. That's enough. You know, I'll pick it back up tomorrow. No, you need to have that quick snap back to say, hey, no, this is wrong. I'm out of alignment. Let me take that step back, reassess what's going on, and then I can move forward. All right. Silence is sacred. All right. Your clarity lives in quiet. All right. So take that time, you know, sit back, surround yourself with nothing. Maybe just sit and just meditate. You know, that's something we definitely don't do as a society. I feel nearly enough. Just sit back and just really get inside of your head, get into that quiet place and start thinking about, hey, you know, what's the goal? What's the move? Because in that quiet, guess what? That's when all that clarity comes. When you have a bunch of noise, mess, foolishness coming on, you can't really focus on what you need to focus on, all right? So remember, silence is sacred, all right? Cherish it. Cherish it. Ask yourself daily, am I creating from truth or am I creating from fear? Okay? So listen, living in your truth, you got to realize it. Hey, is this fear that I'm speaking from? Or is this truth that I'm speaking from? Am I doing this out of fear because I'm scared that, you know, my kids won't have a brighter future? Or am I doing this because I know, hey, this is going to help elevate the whole family in the long run? You know, am I doing this because I feel like my friends are going to judge me if I'm not? Or am I doing this because I don't really care what anybody says? I'm doing it because it makes me feel good. You know, so living your truth daily, all right? And let go of what drains you, even if it once what inspired you, all right? So even if it was inspirational at one point, maybe it's not that inspirational now because that was a different phase of your life, you know, and you've grown out of that. You needed that phase of your life to get to the point where you are now. You can't have that same mentality, all right? You got to grow, and it's drain. If you live in that mentality still, guess what? You're limiting yourself, and like I said, you're draining that energy, all right? So level up with yourself, level up with your mind, and level up with that clarity, all right? Recalibrate as often as you need, all right? This is your life. If you need to recalibrate, if you need to reassess, definitely do it, because alignment is a daily choice, not a one-time fix, all right? Let's get it.
All right, that leads us into number 5, intentional over impressive. Impressing others is expensive when it costs you your authenticity. Listen to me. Impressing others is expensive when it costs you who you are. I love that.
Yes,
Success with misalignment is still failure. You definitely want to be aligned and making sure that whenever you are moving in the right direction, it does not lead to failure. So often we think of success and we rush into things and we don't do things with alignment, and the result is still failure. You may feel like on the onset it looks like you've won, but it's still failure. True power is found in simplicity, not performance. You don't need applause, you need alignment. I love
Facts.
that one because especially when you're dealing with intentional over being impressive, oftentimes we look for the applause, but we look for the applause at the wrong time. When it's time for the curtain to come open, you'll definitely know. But when you're auditioning and when you are practicing and allowing, to perfect your craft, the applause is not always necessary. So, make sure that you're in alignment. So whenever it's time for the curtain to be pulled, you're ready for your performance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Right. So that brings us right into number 6, all right? Rewriting the narrative, all right? You're not behind, you're just realigning, okay? So don't feel rushed. This is your pace. This is your energy. This is your goals, all right? So never feel like you're behind. Who are you behind? You're only racing with yourself, all right? So don't get too far ahead of yourself to where you feel like you're always a step behind, okay? No, just realign and reshift your focus. When you feel that way, obviously your focus is off and your alignment is off. You're not in one accord, all right? So remember that clarity is what we're chasing here. We're not chasing some false goals or some false ideas of what other people have for our lives. No, we're chasing what makes us comfortable, and we're chasing what's going to get us to the finish line in the most effective way possible, all right? Who you were is allowed to evolve without shame, okay? Let me read that. Who you were is allowed to evolve without shame, okay? So you, like I said, you're not that anymore, all right? You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to level up, all right? Feel empowered in that, all right? Feel enriched in that. To give a little tidbits back to the previous series, all right? Who you were is allowed to evolve without any shame. You don't owe consistency to the version of you that no longer exists, okay? This is you. This is your level up. This is your time. This is your passions, your goals. This is what you became. This is what you're building, all right? So you don't owe consistency to that version of you that no longer exists, okay? Let go of an old story is the fastest way to begin that new chapter, okay? We're in the same book, but we need to flip the page. We need to start that new chapter in our life. And it all starts with realigning your goals and your assessments, all right?
All right. That takes us into number 7, the daily alignment check. Y'all heard me? It's daily. And so alignment isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. And oftentimes we're not even present to even assess that we're being perfect. So make sure that you're assessing daily. Am I being present for me, my purpose? Am I empowered enough to even be aligned? Ask yourself, is this choice aligned with my peace or my pressure? Your daily habits are either pulling you into your purpose or pulling you away from it. And that goes back to before. What are you filling up on? Are you filling up on what's driving you to your purpose, or is it a distraction, and is it pulling you away from what it is you were created to do to ensure that you stay in alignment? When you lead with alignment, success becomes sustainable. And so this is definitely the long goal, and you just want to make sure that this alignment, as he stated before, is a daily check, just to ensure that you are headed, for greatness, and you definitely want success to be sustainable. So you're always making sure that, you're checking those choices and making sure that, you're in peace as you're moving towards your greatness.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. What you said, your daily habits are either pulling you into purpose or pulling you away from it. All right. Oof. So those daily habits, remember, that goes back to, we've mentioned habits and daily habits in each of our last 2 series. What are you doing? How are you laying out your day? If you wake up with goals and those intentions on your mind, guess what? Those daily habits are going to flourish. It's not going to be any type of hampering or any type of dimming on your life. It's just going to be something that comes natural and flows. So I love that. All right. Now brings us right into number 8, letting go of misaligned obligations. All right. Not everything that started with you deserves to finish with you. All right. Not everything that started with you deserves to finish with you. All right, and that goes right back to leaving those old habits. All right, you started this goal with some clear goals in mind, and you started it, and now like I said, you've leveled up. You level it. So everything, maybe it's the people that's in your life when you started. You needed them then. Maybe to propel yourself, but now you see that they really not propelling with you. So now you got to maybe find a way to separate yourself. Maybe it's old habits. Maybe you had your little comfort foods that got you in your comfort zone. You got to leave them in the past. So find those things that really starting to hamper or maybe not leading towards your progress, and try to lean towards some furtherment, if that's a word. I don't know, is furtherment a word?
I'm not sure.
But it sounds good though. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, all right? It makes you strategic, all right? And I love that. Saying no, it's not selfish, Some people need to say that. You're protecting that energy. Like she said earlier, you have to protect that energy because it's your responsibility. So you have that control to say no to anything that you need to help yourself progress, help yourself get to that finish line. Because not everything requires a yes. Sometimes you have to say no when it's not aligned with your purpose. All right. Peace is a proof that you're on the right path. Right? And that goes right back to that first topic. If you have that inner peace, you have that clarity, then you're heading in the right direction. Even if it's not going at the pace that you want it, guess what? You're steadily heading in a right and positive direction where you can feel that comfort and say, hey, I'm doing the right thing by me. I'm doing the right thing by my family. I'm doing the right thing by my loved ones and friends. And as long as I'm taking care of myself and my inner peace, then, hey, I'm on the right track. I don't care whose timeline they got over my life. I'm moving on my timeline with my peace and how I'm comfortable. All right. So always feel comfortable in that. Protecting your purpose sometimes means disappointing others. Don't worry about disappointing others. Like I said, this is your race. This is your life. And this is how you choose to live it. Disappointing others is the least of your concern, unless it's that team that we were building together. You definitely don't want to let your team down. But when it comes to those that are outside of your circle or those that are just outside looking in, hey, forget about them. It's all about what you're doing, how you're gaining, and how you're comfortable. All right. We got to align. Let's get aligned in 2025, leading into 2026. This is our time to get focused and really grind. All right.
That concludes this first series of alignment. Definitely make sure you go back and listen to this one because this one is personal. This one is about you. This one is about your final presentation to the world, so to speak. Your masterpiece, your craft. What can you sit back and say that I'm in alignment and I'm putting something out that's going to be fruitful? Not even if it's a business or what have you. What are you putting out in the earth? Is it something that can be duplicated? Is it something that others would like to mimic? And with that being said, never blur the lines of looking at someone else's story. I know social media does this great thing of illuminating people's lives, and so you feel like you have to compete. But as stated before, you're in this race, this journey is yours. So make sure that you're in alignment. Oftentimes we look at pictures or snapshots, but one thing that we can be real and transparent with ourselves about, nobody ever put up the bad parts of the story. They only put up the glamour and the glitz. And so you always feel like, oh, this person has arrived. But if you are living in your alignment and your truth, then I'm no longer looking at your story. Even if I see the aftermath of what was, I can then say, okay, I too can have that. But never look at it as a race. So just making sure that in your journey to alignment, just going back to that daily alignment, just making sure that you're tapping into yourself daily and you're not being, led by your emotions, but operating in your peace, because your peace is everything. I learned some years ago that your peace costs too much to give it out for free. And so Amen. just in making sure that, you're on the right path. And if you're in peace, then it's definitely evident that you're on the right path. So, just in reference to this series, just know that being selfish, it's required, and just operating in your momentum and moving at the pace of grace, and knowing that it's your race to run, and it's nobody beside you, nobody behind you, and the only person who you have to impress is the person you were on yesterday. Each day should be a push to become a better version of yourself. And so my torch passing for this series is, on your journey to making sure that you're aligned each day, is to make sure that you're thriving as well. Get out of the mindset of, oh, I'm so busy for this, that, and the third, and focus on what's important. And if you do have to check your calendar twice, make sure that you are freeing up time for self, to be intentional, to make sure that, you know, these goals that I'm laying out, it is strictly attached to my purpose, and that it's fueling you, and then just making sure that you are filling up on the right thing. I have so many meditation clips that I take from YouTube, just whenever my mind isn't in the right place, just trying to call all my energy back to me. And sometimes it's hard, just depending on, you know, your heart posture or whatever the situation is, but just make sure that you're being intentional and being in alignment with yourself, because you are the best part of you. You can give so much of yourself, but definitely be selfish with your peace, because it costs too much to just give it for free.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. It's the beginning of a brand new series, but definitely not the end of it. All right. So hope you took good notes. Hopefully something along the way resonated with you, and you can be able to carry this with you for the rest of the week. We definitely look forward to tuning back in with you guys next week. We'll have episode 2 of our alignment series. All right. But yeah, stay locked in. Have a beautiful rest of your week. We'll see y'all next week.
Stay encouraged.